All right, so the trade between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cleveland Browns happened with Myles Garrett, and it looks like the Cleveland Browns are tanking for this year for Arch Manning. Now, it's sad though, because when you look at this Cleveland Browns team, they actually look promising. The way they were constructed, it looked like this team had a chance to possibly make the playoffs and actually make some noise and do something respectable. And based on this trade, you're giving away the number one defensive player for someone who's in their prime. He's 25. I know he's okay. He's had a decent year, but you got to think the Rams has a good team. The defense is good as a whole, so you plug someone who's decent, they're gonna look better than someone who's just on an average team. So it's hard to really assess someone like him. So we're really gonna see if Jared Verse is a good player or not. If he plays very well like he did over there with the Browns here now we can say he's a good player. And Myles Garrett, him being on a team that won hardly any games, he just shows up, he blows up, and just pops up on your screen, right? Is he gonna do that on a team like this now? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Or is he just gonna kind of just fit in and fade into the background? We're gonna have to see. Eyes are gonna be on him because he gets paid a lot of money, so people are expecting a lot out of him. So the Browns give up Miles, right? And I'm trying to see the details. I think they're getting a first round pick in 2027 and a second round pick in 2028. And I think they're also getting a third or something. Yeah, here it is. So the Browns get a first round pick in 2028. So, yeah, first round pick in 2027, second round pick in 2028, and a third round pick in 2029. So they're getting a draft pick in each of the next three drafts. And it's one, two, three, right down the line. So I mean, it's decent, but I mean, I feel like if you were gonna trade Miles, why didn't you just trade him during the draft? And that shows you that they were trading him for next year's draft because they want to get Arch. They're getting out. They want to. This tells me they want a quarterback in next year's draft. Because if they really wanted to like make the team better and they're really looking at the future now, they would have just traded him in this year's draft. I mean, you know what I mean, and get all the picks you can. But nope, they're looking at next year. But then you got to ask yourself, if they were gonna trade him there, were there any other teams that were interested? And if there were, wouldn't you want to get a team that's going to probably do worse? Because the Rams, assuming Matthew Stafford stays upright and doesn't get hurt, this team's going to be a great team. In my opinion, I think they just crown them the champions after this. Like, do we even watch the season now? Or are the Rams just now the champs? Because we know whenever they do this, these big moves over the offseason, that team usually wins. Last year it was the Seahawks. I don't know how we all overlooked it, but I guess it's because of Sam Darnold, but we should have seen it with all those moves they made. It's usually the team that makes all the biggest moves or the biggest move. That's the team that wins the Super Bowl, usually. So this is kind of pointing towards that. I wouldn't be surprised. Do the Rams beat the Seahawks in that NFC Championship game if they have Myles Garrett? I don't know. It's close. We'll see. All eyes are going to be on him, though. All those picks. But now, the thing about Cleveland, they moved all that money off the books. They got a rookie contract for a couple more years. Now they got 3 picks out of it. We're going to see. Let's look at their depth chart, the Cleveland Browns. Now, without Myles Garrett, well, we'll start with offense. With the quarterback situation, there's a few things I'm thinking is happening here. I think they're marketing Deshaun. I think they want to do what they did with Flacco. I think they want to trade Deshaun early in the season. They're trying to market him like, hey, look at this. This guy, he's back. He's who he used to be. So someone can take a stab and flyer on him. Because if they do that, they wouldn't have to pay his contract. Cleveland would still take that over, but he'd be off their roster and they can move on. Otherwise, they got to deal with the stench of Deshaun because they're not going to resign him. Even if he plays like Tom Brady, they're not resigning him. They can't. It's too risky for you. What, you're going to give him another 200 for him to possibly revert back? Like, you can't. Even if he plays amazingly, you cannot do it. So I don't know what they're doing with Deshaun Watson here, unless they're going to keep him in there and lose games on purpose. But that makes you look bad unless you don't care about trading him and you're just trying to lose games on purpose, And you don't care what happens to him after the year. He's done. He burned us. Let's burn him back, kind of thing. Because for Shador, it won't be a good look for him if he goes out there and just loses all these games. And his coaches are out here tanking games. That's not going to be a good look for him. So Shador, if I were him, I'd be trying to get out of Cleveland, honestly. Because it's just not looking good right now. And if you look at their training camp, I've been hearing a lot of drops. Receivers that are going back to their drops from last year. It's Cleveland, man. It's Cleveland. Not much good happens out here. A lot of good names, a lot of exciting players, it looks like, on this offense, but it's Cleveland, man. It's just a lot to overcome. Until they get in that new stadium and that dome, it's just going to be the same old, in my opinion. They need a change of scenery, and that's what that dome will bring, It just feels like there's a stench in that stadium that just cannot be removed. All that losing, all that heartache, all that trauma, just in that dog pound of a stadium, just trapped in there. It feels like they need a fresh start over there. And they need to declare their quarterback, man. Let's get some certainty in the room so everyone knows who the captain is. In my opinion, I think it should be Shador. 10 years younger, virtually, close to it. And more upside. I'm sure Deshaun, if he really works at it, stays healthy, makes his game more cerebral, he could play another 10 years, Deshaun. But will he do that? He hasn't shown himself to be that type of guy to do that, so I can't bet on that. And Shador has more of a chance to play 10 years than Deshaun does. Not saying that Deshaun can't, but the chances are, based on what we've seen, Shador is a studier, so it's like, and he plays cerebrally. He's not known for his athleticism. So there's that. And they can't keep 4 quarterbacks. And they drafted a quarterback. So that tells me they're going to get rid of one. And they drafted Dylan in the 3rd last year as a backup. So why would you invest such a high capital on someone just to get rid of them? So it just makes me feel like they're going to keep the 3 young guys, and they're going to do something about Watson. Maybe he gets hurt again because he can't stay healthy, let's be honest. He hasn't played in 2 years, guys. He's 30 years old. You think he's going to be able to take many hits without doing it in so long? I just don't know, man. The NFL is a whole different other ball game. Once you get hit, you're literally getting hit by a car. These hits really hurt in the NFL. It's not no high school hit. You're getting hit by grown men that are pissed off, trying to make a name for themselves, and literally trying to hit you and hurt you and injure you. Literally. So I don't know if he's going to be able to withstand that broken down body of his. I just don't know. So keep an eye on this Deshaun situation. Because it can't be a good thing if he plays well. It can't. How is that a good thing for Cleveland? A, now what? You're going to have to pay him. And B, you're losing draft spots if your intention was to tank anyway. And C, aren't you, for trade options, it's just what are we doing here? What are we doing? And on defense, you got rid of Myles, and now you put this Okwara guy in there. But really, Verse, I thought, was a D end. But I guess he could play linebacker. It depends on what type of defense. But it says 4-3-D. So if they're playing 4-3, isn't Verse a 4-3 outside or end? Or is he a... I'm trying to think. Because the Rams played a 4-3, if I'm not mistaken. And wasn't Verse an end? Or was he an outside backer? Maybe he played a little bit of both. I gotta look at some of his tape because I remember him getting sacks and doing D lineman moves. I gotta check on that. I'll check on that. I'm pretty sure. Let me look at that really quickly because Verse is a guy. Jared Verse highlights. I'll know immediately based on where he's lined up. Based on where he is. Yeah, he's on the D line. Yeah, he's an end. He's an end, guys. So this is not an updated uh, depth chart. It can't be. Because you wouldn't put Quincy Williams. You signed Quincy Williams to play him. So you're gonna have Quincy here, and you're gonna put Verse where Okarwa or Okra is, because you just signed Alex Wright. You got your D tackles. You have Alex. Then you'll put Verse here. You'll have Winston Reed, I guess. But didn't you draft Justin Jefferson? And this guy was from last year, actually. So you drafted Justin Jefferson. So I imagine he's going to be in the loop with Schlesinger. And then you're going to have Quincy Williams. And then your DBs, you got Ward, Delpit. I think this Emmanuel Warren guy is going to take Hickman's spot. They drafted this guy, and then Campbell, and then Nickelback. They should have got a Nickelback, in my opinion, instead of, because they drafted other positions that they didn't need as much, like that quarterback. Instead of the quarterback, why didn't you get a Nickelback? That's what they should have did. They didn't need another quarterback, especially if you're gonna get one next year. So it's like, what is the point of that? Like, I get you want to like strike lightning, but you're not even giving him reps. So it just feels like a wasted pick. When really, if you really do your scouting, you could get a good player at every single pick. As long as you know what you're doing with your scouting. You look for diamonds in the roughs. Look for the guys that people aren't like really looking at, but are still good though. Quality player. That's how you really scout. You can't scout all the same people that everyone else is scouting. You gotta look for your own guys elsewhere. Guys that are capable and can do these things. They're all over the place. There's so many guys that don't get drafted that are good enough to play in the league, but they just don't have the exposure. You know, they just never got the scouting eyes on them, so it just doesn't happen for them. There's so many guys out there just sitting on couches or just behind a register or working some other job that are literally world-class athletes and good enough to play in the league, but just don't get the opportunity. And that should tell you something about the league right there. Are they really getting the best players, or is it something else in play? But I'm going to leave it off here, guys. Actually, let's look at the Rams depth chart really quickly, and then we'll leave it off. Just so you guys have an idea what this team looks like. Matthew, they got Kyron. It would have been nice for them to draft a running back in the first round instead of... I get it. Ty Simpson, I get it. In case Stafford gets hurt. Let's say Stafford goes down week 2 or 4 or 10 or whenever. And all eyes on Ty Simpson now. You know what I mean? Because he went down. All you had is Stetson Benson. So now you have insurance, for the future. I get it. I totally get it. But what if Stafford doesn't go down? Now you could have used that first round pick on a running back. You know what I mean? They could have got that guy from the Tennessee guy. Or was it Tennessee? The Cardinals picked him up, that running back. I forget his name. The speed guy who's amazing. They could have got him. They could have had Matthew with him and Nakua, Devontae. And they could have got a receiver. That's something C.J. Daniels, I think they drafted. I'm pretty sure C.J. Daniels. Because C.J. Daniels is someone... Yep. Yeah, C.J. Daniels is their receiver they drafted. He's going to be good. He's got some size to him, so I take that back. They got a receiver. Who's this Jordan Whittington guy? Yeah, he's been around. I mean, I'm not familiar with him. Yeah, he doesn't have many receptions. It'd be hard to track a guy like that. Yeah, so I'd imagine C.J. Daniels is going to work into this receiving rotation. Xavier Smith. Yeah, I don't know who that is. C.J. Daniels is going to work in there for sure. So they got a rookie receiver, but they could have got a running back. I don't really like their running back room. Blake Corum is okay. Like, he's okay. but you need a dynamic guy that could take pressure off Stafford having to make every throw every time. Like, imagine Stafford could hand the ball off to like a Chris Johnson type player. You know what I mean? Imagine that. That takes so much pressure off the pass game to the point it's like, well, damn, we got to stop this guy from running the ball, and we got to stop this guy from throwing pinpoint passes. It's like it's impossible to guard. That's why it's impossible to, or it's imperative, I should say, to get a great running back. If it's possible and you can get it, and your offense is already built and your team is ready to go, and that's the only thing you're missing, because that's what they're missing. They're missing dynamic running. They have good, tough yard, go get 'em yards with it, but they don't have anyone that can break that long run. That one guy that you fear that if we miss on a shoelace, he's gone. That's what they don't have. They're missing that type of speed. That one guy that can literally like take the top off. That's why I think they made an error. C.J. Daniels is a good receiver, but he's not a speed demon. Like, where's the speed at? Who's the guy that's scaring people besides Puka? So that's why it's like, I don't know if this is really a clear cut, Super Bowl winning team. I just don't know. We're gonna have to see. Colby Parkinson, I don't even know who this guy is. Somehow he over trumped Tyler Higbee. I thought Tyler Higbee was their guy, and I thought Terrence Ferguson was the guy that they were trying to make the guy now. And then now they drafted Max Clare also. So it's like tight end. It feels like they haven't found themselves there or yet there. And their O-line is okay, decent. Not the best ever, it's decent. Defensively, you got Kobe Turner, Poona Ford. You still got Brandon Fisk with Myles Garrett, so that's going to be interesting what they do with that. Are they going to... Oh, they're at a 3-4 here. They're going to switch to a 4-3. They have to. They have too many D linemen. Because they'll have to put Myles at an end, right? With either Byron Young or Brandon Fisk. They're going to have to... They got a problem that I'm glad I don't have. They're going to have so many good players on defense that they're going to have to figure out how to get this aligned. Like, I don't really get the trade, honestly. I don't think they needed this as much as more than they needed what I said. They need a speed guy at receiver that can just stretch the field, and they need a dynamic running back. That's their biggest need right now, in my opinion, this team. You know what I mean? They got their cornerback situation. They literally took the Chiefs DBs. They took Jalen Watson and they took Trent McDuffie. They're like, yeah, we're fixing our corners and we're taking yours. And that's literally what they did. And their safeties, they've been there for a while. Kitchens and Cam Curl, they've been there for a while. Quentin Lake, that's their guy on the nickel. He's been there for a minute. So this defense, we'll have to see, man. Like, I'm not sold. I don't think Myles Garrett makes them a championship team. I know that's what they want us to think. Let's just see how the whole playoffs and the rest of the offseason plays out. Let's see what every team does. Because we're talking New England Patriots are trying to get A.J. Brown still. You know what I mean? If they get them, or if they get him, then it's just, that changes things, We just have to see how things shake out. What if the Seahawks make a move? After seeing this, they're like, whoa, they got Garrett. All right, we got to make a move. What if Dan Snyder gets on the phone and makes a move? Then now the Seahawks become the favorite. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. And join me, tomorrow? No, on Wednesday for the finals. We'll try to make a pick for that game, for game one. Game ones are tough. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thanks.